Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the downfall of Mitsubishi after 2001 in the WRC, how they left the sport and what happened to their Lancers afterwards. Our story begins in 1981. Mitsubishi has returned to rallying after a break of 7 years with its Mitsubishi Lancer EX2000. They sent two Lancers to rally Acropolis and both DNF'd with mechanical issues. One of the drivers was Andrew Cowan. Andrew was a veteran Scottish rally driver who used to be a close friend of no other but Jim Clark. They were both farmers in Scotland. According to Andrew, we each had to have a car. We were able to drive in fields, off-road and of course through all these twisty, muddy Scottish roads where there was no traffic back on those days. That definitely refined our driving skills. We had advantages that other drivers didn't. Andrew was 46 at the time. I'd say close to the end of his rally career, but then again, Leb just won Rally Monte Carlo, age 47, so yeah. After Mitsubishi's attempts with the Lancer were unsuccessful in 1981, they decided to take a break again and relocate their rally art team in Europe, where there are lots and lots of rallies. The man they decided to put in charge of that base was Andrew Cowan. Andrew's team that would evolve into Rally Art Europe was based in Rugby, Warwickshire, amazing name, and it would enter Mitsubishi rally cars to the World Rally Championship till, well, shit went down. Mitsubishi won 4 World Drivers' Championships with Tommi Mäkinen from 1986 to 1999, but only 1 World Constructors' Championship in 1998, as Mitsubishi failed to have a good number 2 next to Tommi. In 2000, Tommi Mäkinen came 5th and Mitsubishi 4th on the Constructors, only ahead of Seat as the full-time manufacturers. That was because Mitsubishi was still using a Group A Lancer Evo, while the rest of the manufacturers were using WRC cars. So in 2001 mid-season, Mitsubishi introduced the Lancer WRC to help Tommi Mäkinen win his 5th World Drivers' Championship. Mäkinen was equal on points with Colin McRae in San Remo and hoped that the car would be competitive. Rally Art had been developing it since 1999. Otherwise, he made it clear to the team that if it wasn't competitive, he was going to leave the team. So the time came, the Lancer was on the start line of San Remo, ready to shock the world, roar off into the distance, and Mäkinen was 11th and Loix was 24th. Things didn't get better later on, as Mäkinen lost the wheel and retired, and Loix finished 12th, on pace, 7 minutes off the lead, on tarmac. In 2001 alone, the Lancer got a best finish of 6th and Mäkinen lost the championship by 3 points. The Lancer only got 1 point from San Remo to Wales. The Lancer was actually slower than its Group A counterpart. Mäkinen, predictably, left the team. For 2002, the car was so bad that it scored 9 manufacturers' points, but that was actually pretty fraudulent, because 7 of those were because of Citroën not being a full-time entry, they didn't do all the rallies, and privateers being faster than Mitsubishi. Alistair McRae finished 5th in Sweden, the only points finish any Mitsubishi driver would score all season. They'd finish 6th and last in the standings, losing to Skoda. Yep, Skoda.
First and third meant Citroën must have been more than happy, unlike Mitsubishi. At least the afternoon had seen the cars set quicker times than the morning, but the team were about to lose one of the 2 Lancers. The thick white smoke from Alistair McRae's car meant 2 things: a blown turbo and retirement.
Now we had a turbo go in there, so just basically blanked the oil pipe off so we can drive back to...
After the end of 2002, Mitsubishi took over Rally at Europe and gave parts of the operation to Mitsubishi Australia and its works Mitsubishi Motors. The new operation was named MMSP, which stands for Mitsubishi Motors Motorsport. Not a very good name if you ask me. In 2003, McRae, Christian Solberg and Jari Paasonen did some events, with McRae getting a best finish of 6th in New Zealand. For 2004, Mitsubishi introduced this, the new Lancer 04. Along with the cars, Andrew Cowan took a step back to an advisory role for the team, and lots of ex-Peugeot engineers joined the team. Also, Poch from Peugeot was perhaps the person we all think about when we hear of the term tarmac specialist, Gilles Panizzi. Other drivers like Gigi Galli, Danny Sola and Christian Solberg were also signed up for the 2004 season. Mitsubishi's idea was to use the 2004 season as a learning year, for them to build a foundation for a championship challenge for the 2006 and 2007 season. Panizzi finished 6th in Rally Monte Carlo, 10 minutes off the lead, but set some competitive times. That was the only bright spot from the 2004 season, unfortunately, as the Lancer had lots and lots and lots of mechanical issues, especially electrical issues. Most embarrassing was both Mitsubishi drivers retiring on the Super Special on the first stage with electrical issues in New Zealand. After round 10 in Germany, in which both cars crashed out, Mitsubishi decided to not do all the rallies, but entered 3 cars in Spain, getting their first double points finish since Rally Safari in 2001, back when they used the Group A car. For 2005, Mitsubishi updated the car a lot. They dropped Sola and Solberg and got Harry Rovanpera from Peugeot. His first full season, aged 40 by the way. Panizzi and Galli would interchange on the second car. The updated car was evident, as Gilles Panizzi got a podium on the opening round and even won a stage. Overall, I'd say the 2005 Mitsubishi was as fast as the Ford and the Subaru, but yeah, they didn't have quite the drivers, I'd say, because Rovanpera was a gravel expert, Panizzi was a tarmac expert, and Galli was pretty inexperienced back in the day. Overall, I'd say the car was pretty decent. On the last round in Australia, Harry Rovanpera finished 2nd, the best finish for a Mitsubishi in a WRC car, and the best since Safari 2001, again with a Group A car. For 2006, Mitsubishi were expected to retain Harry Rovanpera and Gigi Galli with the rumored 3rd car for either Xavier Pons, thank God that didn't happen, or Swede Daniel Carlson. But on the 14th of December of 2005, Mitsubishi announced their shock withdrawal from the WRC, citing budget issues, and they left with the possibility that they would return in 2007 with a car based on the Evo X. That never happened, unfortunately. That was the end of any manufacturer involvement for Mitsubishi in the WRC, after almost 25 years and 4 World Drivers' Championships, as well as 1 Constructors' Championship. That doesn't mean the Lancer was never used though. Funnily enough, the best result from the Lancer was a 3rd and 4th place from Daniel Carlson and Gigi Galli in Sweden 2006. Christian Solberg, who drove and tested the car for Mitsubishi in 2003 and 2004, after using it in 2007 in Finland, commented on its improvement and said that the engine and gearbox were very improved and that the car still had a very good, albeit chonky, chassis. Well, he didn't say chonky, he said big. I added the word chonky. After Gardemeister, Urmo Aava, Juho Hänninen and Christian Solberg, as well as Xavier Pons, drove the Lancer on a semi-regular basis in 2007, the Lancer was pretty much never used again, except a one-off by a Dutch guy in Germany 2010. Mitsubishi kept supplying privateers with Group N Lancers until the end of the PWRC in 2012, and the FIA criminally, if you ask me, killing off the Group N class, replacing the PWRC class with a boring, dull, uninspiring WRC 3 class that was just spec DS3 R3 Turbo driving. Dicks. The last Mitsubishi to score points was Nathan Quinn on Rally Australia in 2017 with the Group N Lancer. Of course, the FIA pretended he didn't exist, as well as another Subaru Group N that finished right below him, and awarded points to 11th, because his car wasn't a quote-unquote car eligible to score points. Dickheads. In 2015, Rallyard Sweden, a subsidiary of Rallyard Europe, made an R5 car based on the Space Star or Mirage, depending on what the car is called in your area, and they were ready to supply privateers with the cars. But Mitsubishi declined to approve its use on rallying, and as a result, the FIA declined its homologation. Dickheads. It was only used in one WRC rally in 2018 in Sweden, with it being classed as a Group N car, funnily enough, and getting a 1, 2, 3 and 4 in its category. This, well, it brings us to the end of our story, but I'd like to end this on a happy note. Since, I think 2017, the Mitsubishi Lancer 04 has been revived in the USA and UK, as well as some parts of Australia and New Zealand for the Asia Pacific Rally Championship. And it's been made into a replica chassis, and it's essentially used as a kit car. You know, those kit cars that you saw back in the day, rear-wheel drive, Citroën Zara, Peugeot 307, no 307, sorry. Not the 307, thank God, the 306. Yeah, and it's being used on the American Rally Championship and the British Rally Championship. It's based on the original drawings and designs of the factory-made Lancer 05. I'll leave a link on the description for you to check it out. I'll also leave in the description a beautiful article made by WRC Wings that details the Lancer 04-05 development, as well as, well, all my sources will be on the description. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave me any video ideas that you want me to do in the comments. I hope the video was better than the IRC one and the mini one. And yeah, take care.